Would I be the asshole for not taking in my 22 female brother, 17 male throwaway because privacy and on mobile? Our family life is complicated, but what you need to know is I moved out after my dad, 40s, and my step-mom, 30s, ignored me for months due to the fact I was spreading lies about them to our family, told them everything that was going on. Moved up with another family member, who helped me get back on my feet, gain my confidence after years of hating myself, and let me be who I am. I am doing much better now than what I was, which was very, very bad. I am now renting my own place, paying for college myself with no aid, work almost 50 hours a week at my minimum wage job and have little wiggle room financially. After I moved out, things took a turn for my brother. I mostly did all the chores and laundry, so now it was all on him after I left. Both my parents are unemployed by the way and home all the time, they just didn't do shit. They started giving him harsher and harsher punishments for not doing exactly as they said, taking his things away, belittling him, etc. Basically everything that had happened to me was now on him. I wanted to help desperately, but my parents are very controlling. I knew if I tried to reach out they would block me from actually trying to talk to my brother. They watch his accounts, text messages, limit his time on the internet using apps, etc. Edit. I should clarify that I could reach out and talk to him, they didn't actually block me. I've had short convos before via text with him, which were few and far between. But if they found out I was trying to reconnect and talk to him about what happened, I suspect they would have done something. Plus I just hate the thought of them spying on me after years of putting up with it. Well, shit hit the fan last month. My brother was grounded, and had done something to get around it. After Dad found out, he pushed my brother out the door with nothing but his wallet and the clothes on his back and told him to fuck off. No one knows who he is staying with beside one family member, since Dad has a lot of connections in our small town. Dad went off the deep end. One thing led to another, and let's just say he might lose custody. Can't go into detail, but it was bad. Some members of my family are now thinking I am going to obtain guardianship and take care of him if it comes to that. However, I know I can't do this, just due to my mental and financial circumstances. When I told my family member I am close to this, they said I wouldn't be alone, they would help support me. Even though they just moved very far away. That I need to pull my bootstraps up and be an adult. They think, since I'm his sister I might overrule my stepmom, who adopted him several years ago. Her and my dad been married a while. Someone even said it would be awful if I turned my brother away. If I was the only member of my family able to, I absolutely would. I want my brother to be safe, happy and away from the fuckers more than anything. I know what it's like and only want him to be better off. But I know other people in my family can and are stable enough to take him in until he turns 18. Some of my other family have my back, but others think, since family is offering to help out, I should do it. I am so confused, scared, and just tense as hell. Please give me some outside perspective. Thank you. Edit 2. Wow, only a few hours and still so many people. Thank you all so much. Responding to any questions when I can, so I apologize if I don't get everyone. Also, to clarify a bit, I have no idea if Dad is going to lose custody, but with the way things have played out, it seems that is the likely option. My dad's incident happened mere days ago. So nothing is set in stone. Family are just preparing for the worst and wanting me to take over if it comes to it. Sorry for any confusion. Not the asshole. Ask the family who are saying they'd help you exactly what they mean. Can they pay your extra rent for a bigger place? Do they know a job that pays more with fewer hours so you can be home to help him? Can they take over your and his school expenses? Will they commit to helping with more utilities? Can they cover the therapy he will need? If the answer is no, tell them you financially can't take him. Ask who has enough house space right now and then help him move there, and keep in contact to give emotional support. Edit 2. Not the asshole as per thread. I mean, is your brother looking for you to fully support him financially? He is 17 and can get a minimum wage job as well and pay his own way. He needs a roof over his head. Also, family is helping you financially to support him as well. If you two get along, I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to help him. Someone helped you when you needed it, and now you refuse to do the same for your brother? What is mentally holding you back to have your brother share a roof with you? Is he rebellious? Would he steal from you or ruin your place? Is he unreliable? Edit. Sorry for all the questions, just not understanding why this is a hard no from you. Not the asshole. If you can't mentally or financially support him, then you can't. If they want you to take him in so bad, create a list of costs, and tell them that's how much they need to give you every month or they can take him in. But don't take him in if you can't. If they're willing to help you, they should be willing to take him in. Just please reach out and let him know that you love him, you're here for him, and you didn't take him in because you couldn't, not because you didn't want to. WIBTA. It sounds like you're stretching yourself thin as it is to keep afloat, and you know that you're not capable of taking on another person. That's very adult of you. P.S. Offering to help out, and actually helping out, are two massively different things. Please don't forget this when you're discussing it with family. Not the asshole. People are always more generous with others' time, money, and energy than they are with their own. People also often fail to realize that, just because someone can do something, doesn't mean they should. What happened to your brother is horrible. What happened to you is no less horrible. You are working on overcoming the bullshit it saddled you with. Having your brother with you would set you back and diminish that focus, and there are other family members that can help. This is such a complicated situation and I'm sorry you and your brother find yourselves in it. I would have more in-depth conversations with your family. What kind of support would be offered? Who would be there to help out? These details will tell you and them whether this is a good idea or not, but ultimately it does sound like he's be better off with another relative. Speak to your relatives again. Let them know your exact situation in this and keep talking it out until all of you have the best solution you can for your brother. If you do this then you WNBTA. Not the asshole. It's not your responsibility to take care of him. Can't he move in with other family members? Like the family that took you in initially? Not the asshole. It was your parents' responsibility to care for him and they failed miserably. CPS cannot force you to take him in, especially if you are unable to mentally or financially become his legal guardian. It's a shame that you are both in this terrible situation. His best bet might be a year in foster care. Am I the asshole? I won't say thank you every time husband makes the bed. On mobile, so capital letters are there instead of bold, italics. I.F. got married recently. We, Jake, lived together for 3 years before getting married. One thing we had to work on was how our love languages changed once we become roommates. Jake shows and receives love through acts of service. I have always struggled with this because I'm a firm believer that basic household tasks are not acts of service. I'm not showing my love by doing the dishes, and I don't feel loved if he puts away groceries. I believe that if the task required decent effort, then it's worth thanking them, such as washing lots of dishes, cooking dinner, mopping, cleaning bathroom bench etc. I don't think folding the towels, taking out the rubbish, or changing the toilet roll requires thanks, but it's nice to do so. 3 nights ago, I went to bed and found Jake had made the bed with the thin blanket. It's winter, and the night prior I complained the thin blanket wasn't enough so I put on the thick duvet. The bed wasn't made that day, and I said that it couldn't be bothered making it before going to bed. For context, making the bed for us is pulling the duvet up and chucking the pillows on. There's no flat sheet, no complicated cushion arrangement, just a bottom sheet and a duvet. So, I go to bed and pull off the thin blanket to replace with the thick one. Jake has moved the thick blanket to the couch, and I asked why he would do that when I said the thin one was too cold. He then said he was pissed off I didn't thank him for making the bed. I said I didn't need to thank him for making it. It was nice he overheard me say I didn't feel like sleeping in a messy bed. But ultimately making the bed is a basic household task that doesn't need praise. Now, just to be clear, household tasks never completely go without thanks. Rather, this is part of an ongoing argument Jake makes that I don't thank him every time. He said he never made the bed before we moved in, but knows I appreciate it. I say it's a household task, and that I don't see it as him going out of my way, especially since it's literally pulling the duvet up. If he changes the sheets, pillowcases and/or duvet cover, I always thank him. But I don't see the point in doing it every single time. I'll add here that if I'm the last to get up and I don't make it, but Jake does, then I say thank you because it was my turn. But if, like 3 days ago, Jake gets up last and doesn't make it, I don't think I need to thank him when he does do it. Edit. A lot of folks are taking the wrong message from this, which is I never say thank you for making the bed. The issue here is that I don't see the need to do it every single time, but I don't actively avoid saying thank you. It just doesn't really register as something he's gone out of his way to do, because to me it's a basic household task, chore. I don't really pay attention to the fact the bed is made after I've already been out of the bedroom for a few hours and started my day. Something I've clarified in the comments but it's worth repeating here is that we view household tasks the same when it comes to saying thank you. He also won't go out of his way to thank me for every normal household task because we're both adults who live in a space and we should clean up after ourselves. It's when the other person does a task that requires decent effort is when we both say thank you. The reason he expects a thank you with the bed making is because he considers it to be decent effort since it's not a task he'd do otherwise, whereas I don't consider pulling the duvet straight-ish and putting the pillows back at the headboard to be a task with decent effort required. Also, no, his love language isn't words of affirmations. Not the asshole. When my wife thanks or praises me for washing the dishes I eat from, making the bed I sleep in, or taking care of the children I fathered, I just feel awkward. These aren't favors I do for her. These are ways I take care of myself, my household, and my responsibilities. Would he not do these things for himself if he lived alone? If these are things he thinks he's doing for you, why does that obligate you to perform a certain response? Not the asshole, he shouldn't have overreacted over that. It is just a household chore. But I will say what helped my marriage a lot during one of our many rough patches, although we have different issues now so I could be very wrong, was finding small things to show I appreciate my husband and vice versa. It seemed to make us realize all the things we do for each other and how much we're appreciated regardless if the task. If I pick up the dishes from his man cave, he thanks me. If he watches the baby so I can take a nap, I thank him. Small things that should naturally be shared responsibilities with or without a verbal agreement can still be appreciated and won't hurt anyone in the process. Not the asshole, I agree with you. You shouldn't need a pat on the back every time for taking care of your own responsibilities. My kindergarten students get that. It sounds like you do thank him when it's appropriate. If he's like this now, what's he going to be like if you have kids? Are you going to need to thank him for watching his own child? Alternatively, if you're child-free, does he need to be thanked like this at work? Does his boss hold his hand and give him a sticker for doing his job? Not the asshole. I have to tell you, this pettiness from him shouldn't continue in your marriage. It'll get exhausting and irritating real quick. I feel like the basic idea is you mutually show love for each other in your day-to-day lives. Therefore thanks isn't needed each time. I agree with you in that if it was a big thing, you would definitely thank him. I hope you'll be confident in the fact that you're in the right here. Not the asshole, does he want a cookie too? He's acting like a child. It sounds like he thinks these things are your job, so he deserves some sort of praise for doing any sort of women's work. Ask him when he's going to thank you for doing it. No one should be thanked for doing normal household contributions. Does he ever thank you? Not the asshole. Household chores are chores. If he's more of a service romantic, surprise you with having your car washed, make a romantic dinner, do something bigger than just make the bed or the everyday generic task. Not the asshole. It's just like that article about leaving dishes by the sink. Just like an author of that piece, your husband totally misses a point. Both guys seem to be stuck at a boy stage, when stepping up to basic adulting is though to be so special, praiseworthy and the pinnacle of chivalry. Does your similar, usual work within household get treated like above and beyond, or is it expected and invisible? How was your work division and view on before? He may be miscommunicating what he really wants from you or is in some distress recently, but I wonder if it isn't a bit of good old sexism at play. ETA. Throwing a tantrum about it and punishment is disturbing. Hope it's only a maturity thing. Nah, my love language is acts of service. I clean as a way of showing my love to my partner. Sweep. Make the bed. Wash the dishes, because he tends to work longer hours than I do and I like him coming home to a clean house. He understands this and always thanks me for doing the chores so he doesn't have to once he's off work. He's not the asshole for feeling hurt because that's his way of showing love and wants to feel appreciated. But you also aren't the asshole for your opinion. I think the best thing is to thank him for the small things because that can mean a lot. Opening parenthesis : Edit. Sorry for the bad format, I'm on mobile. Am I the asshole for refusing to cover my tattoos in public? So here's the story. I, 28F, am heavily tattooed. My arms and chest are pretty much all covered in black. I mean, not only is everything covered but also in a very bold and black style. My mother, 56F, has always hated tattoos, viscerally and intensely. To her, just seeing tattoos on someone is a visual assault, her words, and she sincerely believes that people with tattoos must hide them in public, so other people can't see them. If they don't, she considers tattooed people assaulted her by forcing her to see that disgusting and disgraceful thing. Too bad for her. I'm passionate about tattooing, and although it was totally forbidden for me when I was still under 18, I started getting tattooed around my 25s. You can imagine, this is an extremely contentious subject with my mother. She is blackmailing me to stop getting tattooed, crying every time she sees them and freaks out every time I get a new one. She and my dad, 70M, even had a huge argument because he complimented me on my tattoos. Unlike my mom, my dad loves them. She ended up crying locked in her bedroom and didn't talk to me for weeks. Which I find excessive, especially now I am an independent adult with my own opinions and decisions. Today was election day in France, so we all went to the village with my family to vote. It's extremely hot, so I was wearing a t-shirt that showed my tattoos on my arms and chest. Obviously, my mother went crazy because people in their small village could see them. Due to the intense heat as well as my annoyance that she continues to react this way to my tattoos, I refused to cover myself up. I must also add that I'm autistic, with extremely high sensibility to heat. Even a light heat can cause me very strong seizures I really want to avoid. So we went to vote, as planned. Nobody made me the slightest negative remarks. On the contrary, I got several compliments from strangers, like every time I go out. People are actually very positive about my tattoos, except my mom. We got home and she freaked out again, screamed, locked herself in her room to cry and refuses to talk to me because I am ungrateful, and I humiliated her in public like she never has been in her whole life. Again, I find this a bit over the top, but I am wondering if I ATA or not. As I think I will be asked the question given the strong reactions of my mother. We are an atheist family. The reason of her reactions is not religious, but only the education she received from her own parents. For example, I remember when I was a child, my grandmother made me believe that tattoos were due to an illness, and that I should not approach people with tattoos if I did not want to get sick too. Edit. Hello everyone. Thank you very much for your answers. Thank you for clearing up my doubts. I was really wondering if I was the asshole because she looked really hurt. But now I understand that it's not normal and that I haven't done anything wrong. I will continue to talk to her about that to try to make her understand that tattoos don't represent anything bad or dangerous or unhealthy. Oh, and don't worry, of course, I'm not wearing a Nazi thing on my skin, nor any hate speech. Just an abstract mix of heavy black work and brutal black style. At first I wondered if it was this particular style, which some might find a little strange, that bothered her. But after discussing it, she doesn't even see the difference between that and tattoos of butterflies or flowers. Tattoos are tattoos, and tattoos equals evil. So it's really a hatred of tattooing in general. And I hope it will calm down one day. Not the asshole. Your mom sounds more than a little self-centered. I suggest you start telling her you find her bare, uninked skin to be disgusting and disgraceful, and insist she cover it up with clothing or tattoos at all times. Ask her why she needs to visually assault you, then run away and sob in your room. By sob, I mean find a 5 hours of crying video on YouTube and leave that going after you sneak out of the house. Not the asshole. Your mother is overreacting. Understatement of the year. And she has to accept the fact that you're an adult and you can do whatever you want to your body. You're not harming yourself, besides the initial needlework, of course, and you're not harming anyone else. To demonize tattoos really is an outdated view, and I'm sorry you have to deal with such negativity from your own parent. I'm glad your dad is supportive and appreciates the art on your body, though. Edit. Even though your grandmother is also to blame for putting such ridiculous thoughts in your mum's mind, your mum is an adult. She could talk to you about why you like tattoos or she could research them online, providing she has internet access. Not the asshole. From what you say about your grandmother, it sounds like she may have created some extreme tattoo fear in your mother, which maybe your mother hasn't fully realized is the cause of her reactions to your tattoos. I obviously don't know your mother, but if she is otherwise a calm, rational woman, then maybe it would be worth the effort to try to talk it out with her, within the context that what her mother taught her is wrong. If she internalized the idea that tattoos are a sign of illness, even if it's subconscious, then her reactions to your tattoos make more sense. Not the asshole. One does not need to be a fan of tattoos. But she has no right to tell you that you humiliated her, and you are ungrateful. How? You are an adult, you can do what you want with your body in that matter. Not the asshole, of course, and your mom and grandma are too much. Not the asshole. She needs therapy, and loads of it. Does she only act this way towards you, or is it towards anyone that has tattoos? Not the asshole. Can she for da heart of God calm her FC king tits? Like really? You've had M for years and she's still whining about it? Does she not get enough attention or something? Holy shit, this shit pisses me off. Not the asshole, and it sounds like mom needs therapy. Am I the asshole? I, 19F, kicked my brother, 13M, out of the car because he was acting up. Hi Reddit. This is my first post here. Just looking to see if I'm in the wrong on this one. For context, I am the oldest of 3 siblings. This and I kicked my youngest brother out of the car today. Today I drove me and my siblings and one mutual friend for ice cream. My younger brother has always wanted to be the center of attention and likes to make jokes and shit, but honestly most of the time he takes it just one step too far. Think an annoying class clown persona. I was really trying to be nice about it, inviting him and mostly ignoring his jeers at me throughout the ride. First, he stole my purse when I told him to just put his change into it. I paid for his ice cream. He pretended to pay me back and still didn't after that whole debacle. I didn't respond to it at this point. However, when he started joking about me hitting someone else's car, and how I almost had, I had made a bad turn around a blind corner, but it was okay. I snapped and told him to shut the fuck up. The only thing he seems to actually respond to is harsher language or me snapping at him. Additionally, all of his comments made it very hard for me to focus on driving, which only made the situation more frustrating. Finally, the last straw was when he proceeded to stick his foot into the gap of my headrest, which was after something my sister and mutual friend had made a joke about. It was funny, the car laughed. He proceeded to play with it for a few moments, not stopping after I asked him a few times. He was giggling the whole while. For context, I was parked at the time, but preparing to back out of the stall. I simply told him to get out. I was done with his shit at that point. Admittedly, I don't think he thought I was serious, so he got out and looked at me. I proceeded to drive away after and honestly, was a little relieved. He often takes jokes too far, and that was my tipping point, if that makes sense. Also, the walk home was one he was very familiar with, in broad daylight and only like 8 or so minutes long. I know that he is quite a bit younger than me, but at some point, I think that he is old enough to know that jokes like that aren't okay, and if I had been driving at the time he had done that, it could have ended very badly. I am tired of his nearly constant jokes, to the point where I find it very aggravating when he tries anything, scaring me when I come around a corner, fake throwing things at me, almost hourly occurrence, running into my room with the dog even though I am allergic to her. I could have probably reacted better. My parents were fairly pissed off when I got back without him. I explained the situation and they were still mad at me, and my brother is pissed at me too. Just wanted some opinions on the whole situation whom aren't directly related to me. Cheers Reddit. Edit 1. After reading a few of the comments, I just wanted to clarify 2 things. My brother walks to school alone in the same neighborhood often, walks our dog alone, and has made the walk where I dropped him alone before. He is old enough to walk on his own, especially from the grocery store to our house. And B. His behavior was drawing my attention away from the road as it was very loud and obnoxious, and it extra not cool of him because there was also a mutual family friend in the car, putting not just me and my siblings' lives at risk, but also hers. If the kid was able to get home without any issue, not the asshole. The brother sounded like he needed the lesson. He can't treat people like that and he needs to learn how disruptive and horrible he is. LMAO at the people moaning about him being 13 and needing to walk a small distance home. As if people didn't walk to school on their own etc. Not the asshole, he was being an idiot. Needs to learn the line. Not the asshole, your parents are enabling this behavior. He's not 6, he's 13. As long as the walk home was safe and you mentioned it was short, then I don't see a problem. Him distracting you while operating a vehicle put all your lives in jeopardy. It's not a joke and he is old enough to know that. Not the asshole for kicking him out. And it sounds like you considered the safety implications. If your parents are so concerned, if anything like that happens again, tell them you will call them and expect them to not only discipline him but pick him up to take him home. Rule 1. Don't bother the driver. Never. Rule 2. Don't bother the person who gave you money. Rule 3. Don't bother persons who do you a favor of any kind. Brother or not, it is common courtesy. Not the asshole. Parents can drive him around and buy him food, if they are enabling his behavior. P.S. What did other persons in the car say about the situations? Not the asshole. He just learned there are consequences to shitty behavior. Sounds like he thought he could get away with acting a fool and counted his chickens before they cracked. Not the asshole since he's walked the walk home before, knows his way, is a 8 minutes walk, and not bad weather. Why are our parents mad if he's done the walk before? Just cause you were there and could have driven him? Or is there other reasoning? He is absolutely old enough to learn for every action there is a reaction. Sounds like he needed to learn the lesson, especially about how he was behaving with putting his foot up like that. Had you been driving and wrecked because of him, he would most certainly have fucked up his leg. Not the asshole, since he knew how to get home and it wasn't bad out.